Back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. We are with you guys after the first day of free agency. Technically, things are still going on. A lot of stuff can happen while we're actually recording. So if things happen, we'll talk about them. But this video, as you can tell by the title, is biggest winners and losers of day one of free agency. Free agency started about 3 hours ago, and it was quiet for a second. Sham was on fraud watch, and then he came through as I knew he would. And then things start rolling, things start progressing, and a lot of moves happen. Nothing like league changing, league altering, but a lot of stuff teams made moves on the margin. So we're going to talk about the biggest winners and losers of free agency so far. Make sure you guys like the video, comment your biggest winner, your biggest loser, and let us know what your favorite team did today in free agency. If you were happy with what they did, if you're not satisfied with what they did, just let us know in the comments. Share the video and follow us on our social media platforms at the top of the screen. Most of our viewers are not subscribed. It would be very, very appreciative from us if you subscribed. We're going to get into our biggest winners and losers of free agency. I'm going to start out with Max, just because me and Q, Max hasn't been on the podcast in a second. Me and Q did the biggest winners and losers of the NBA draft as our last video, which did pretty well. Appreciate that. But we haven't heard from Max in a while, so I'm going to start with Max. Who was your biggest winner of free agency?
I think the biggest individual winning move, I think, is pretty clear, and I'd go with Denver getting Cam Johnson. I think that's pretty obvious. They get off of Michael Porter Jr.'s big contract. You get a guy who is a better basketball player, is a more versatile player, can defend, and I think fit better alongside Jokic for cheaper. And I just think I don't know. You throw a first round pick to it. Again, who knows what that could be. But 2032 unprotected first rounder. Brooklyn's got nothing going on. They can sit on that fine. And you're able to now put another piece around Jokic and hopefully try and keep going with that. I don't think they're done. Obviously, the Bruce Brown move. What is he going to be for you? I don't think we're quite sure yet. He has not had great years in the last 2 years, kind of matching up to his 2023 campaign. I still think they had a lot of issues as far as secondary scoring and just help for Jokic in that playoff run. Jokic was backpacking that team in that Thunder series for sure. Aaron Gordon played his ass off, got injured at the end. Huh?
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think Jokic was by far doing as much as he could, but he didn't have much help on that team. And MPJ shooting 0 for a million obviously didn't help that out a lot. So MPJ, we've known, can go through these spurts of not being consistent. I think Cam Johnson offensively, maybe he doesn't always get as hot as MPJ, but I think I'd rather have him as a player for 3-level scoring. But I think that there are definitely more moves to be made. So would I call them the overall winners? I don't know, but I think they had the biggest winning move. And then we talked about it before. It just happened.
One team. Gotta get to Q. One team.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Q, who's your biggest winner from day one of free agency? I don't want to overlap.
I wouldn't say it's just free agency, but so far the offseason as a whole probably would be Atlanta. They were one of my biggest winners of the draft, but they also did it again. I get the dude, I don't know his name, but I know he came from the Pelicans, which is probably how he was able to fleece the Pelicans for that first round pick. But since he got there, he made the trade, got the first round pick, still got Asa.
You said Atlanta? Atlanta.
Yeah. Still got Asa well. Then you come back, you get NAW, you get Luke Kennard. Obviously, you end up getting KP. I think that's very decent. You fill out the roster some more, you get shooting, you get another point of attack defender who can offer some like secondary playmaking chops, and be able to possibly running you off the bench. You get some more length and athleticism, some more shooting. Like I said, you fill out the roster. Have some big depth in the rotation. As long as KP healthy, should be a decent team. I think they probably escaped the play-in this year and probably are a locked playoff team.
Okay, we'll talk about all that, but I'm gonna say my winner too. I think one of the biggest winners of free agency was the Houston Rockets. First, they got Fred VanVleet to take a much lesser contract He's getting paid $25 million a year. He was previously getting paid like $44 million a year. So they paid him earlier on in his contract and then got him to take less to help with bringing in KD, and then to help free up money for a DFS who they signed in free agency. So getting Fred VanVleet, who's still they got Fred VanVleet on a lower contract, who's still a good player. They bring in Dorian Finney-Smith. They also re-signed Jabari Smith on a manageable contract going forward. I think Houston has done a great job this offseason, and they did a great job in free agency. The Jabari Smith is 5 years for 122. He's getting paid $24 million a year. Now, at his current production, that's a little bit much. Honestly, it is. But I believe Jabari Smith still has some room to grow as a ball handler, as a shooter, as a defender. If they believe that Jabari Smith can continue to grow, that contract can age pretty well for the Houston Rockets going forward. Again, they got Fred VanVleet to take a lesser contract, and then Dorian Finney-Smith is still a really good defender. He shot 41% from three last year, and the Lakers were much better with him. The Lakers and the Nets were much better with Dorian Finney-Smith on the floor last year. So I think the Houston Rockets are in conversation for a top 2 to 3 team in the West. I think they have a chance to win 55 plus games in the West and be a team that has a chance to make the Western Conference Finals. They've had an amazing offseason, and they have also had a pretty good free agency. So you guys brought up the Nuggets first, and then Q brought up the Hawks. With the Nuggets, I think the biggest part of what they did in free agency was shedding cap. I think they got under the first apron, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which is a huge move. And I think they can even open up more money if they cut Dario Saric. So their intern GM has been doing a really good job so far in the free agency period. I think Cam Johnson is an upgrade over MPJ. They'll play a similar role as off-ball shooters, but I think Cam Johnson is better at putting the ball on the floor. I think he takes better shots. I think he makes better decisions. I think they're both really active off the ball. Off the top of my head, I think he might be a better finisher. I think he's a better defender in a team context as well. The MPJ, especially on like smaller, on like twos and ones and twos. I think MPJ is probably better on wings, but
can we shed light on other moves or no?
Yeah, we can. I was just recapping what we already talked about. I think getting Cam Johnson and getting Bruce Brown and having the potential to do other moves, it puts Denver back in a contention spot. They took the Thunder to 7, even though I don't think that series was like that close, like as far as like a grueling 7-game series. But they took the Thunder to 7 with Aaron Gordon being injured, with MPJ being hurt, with Jamal Murray being hurt, or whatever. So if you're Denver, you got to feel like you're in a good spot right now with Nikola Jokic and the rest of the team. You have to feel like you can compete for a championship as early as next year. Now that you have done this move to earn you more flexibility and get an upgrade for your roster, because they have missed Bruce Brown's short roll playmaking. They have missed Bruce Brown's intensity on defense, and I think if he can return to anywhere close to his 2023 self with improvements from Christian Braun and Julian Strawther, the team will be more dangerous next year in the regular season and in the playoffs. And I think Q brought up Atlanta Hawks. I'm not going to restate everything he said. I agree wholeheartedly. I made a tweet about it. Their offseason has been amazing. You had Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who is a really good defender at the point of attack. He has a really good wingspan, and he offers secondary ball handling, which I think he's developed over his career. And on the Timberwolves, he's a streaky shooter, but when it's going in, and it provides value for a team. So I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I want him for the Pistons. It's a really good move to get Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And obviously, Luke Kennard is an underrated piece off the bench. He's a really, really good shooter, one of the best in the league. And he also provides secondary like playmaking as well. Really good passer for his role, I think. And not a lot of people talk about that for Luke Kennard, but I think he averages like 3 assists off the bench and doesn't turn the ball over. Let me check that real quick. Luke Kennard.
Shout out
Yeah, I
to
think it's funny, but I feel like going forward, the Atlanta might have the most significant move of the offseason being that first round pick.
3 assists.
Like, again, like maybe that might be a hot take. Like more than any other move this offseason, that New Orleans unprotected first round pick might be the most important move of the offseason with how bad they could be. Like I'm saying, but
You talking about
huh?
You talking about New Orleans? You got to talk about the Bucks. Is it not the best?
I'm saying
it's the best of
either or. But I'm just saying, like I'm almost putting it up there with like Kevin Durant going to Houston for the simple fact where it's like with how big this next draft is, you could be giving away. You got your guy 10 picks later, and you potentially could have a chance at one of the top 3 guys next year. Who again, which one's gonna hit? I don't know, but
all of them.
Like again, so you have a guaranteed really, really good prospect and 2 really good chances to kind of make that work. So I think that's like going forward. I think that when I saw the trade again, I didn't talk about it, I wasn't on. I kind of didn't really recognize that it was unprotected. I didn't really see it. And then I kind of went back to it, or I guess I saw Shams talk about it or someone. And when I realized what it was, like, I think that could be arguably the biggest move of the offseason.
That was probably like 70% an incredibly stupid move from the Pelicans for sure.
I mean,
but I think it has to do with like I said, the Hawks GM. Just because he came, I think they was on the clock. He came from Atlanta, from the Pelicans. He probably knew they wanted Derek Queen because he was in the room.
who is it?
I think
Anzi.
his name is Anzi, something Anzi, but
he got rid of Landry Fields, I knew. But
yeah, he was in there the whole time when I guess they been wanted Queen. He already knew that. I'm with the Hawks now. I could probably move down. You could probably grab Queen right here. Probably with the clock, he probably just kept counting down like they'll just make it underprotected. The Pelicans was like, damn, man, all right, fine, whatever.
Well, the craziest part is just like the Pelicans are now like, again, you can believe in your team. That's great. Believe in your team and hope that you're going to do good. But the fact that it could be Milwaukee's at the same time with all this Giannis stuff going down, like if Milwaukee goes downhill and Giannis demands that trade, like that pick obviously just gets better and better. So they have to trust that.
You can trade it for Giannis.
Huh?
Or you can trade it for Giannis.
Yeah. I mean,
I ain't gonna lie. Giannis could play with the team and they probably still going to be trash.
So, yeah.
Sure, that's fine. But I don't think they're as trash as without him, obviously.
We talked about some positive things, some winners. Who do we think were the biggest losers from day one of free agency?
I'll go first. I think Latif touched on it. It's just been a loser of the offseason, I think, so far as how people have looked at them. I'm going to go with Utah just with the simple fact that they've got guys in trade rumors for the past couple of years, what seems like. Latif touched all this on the pod on his TikTok. I'm not gonna like get too deep into it, but I feel like for the last, I don't know, you guys confirmed 3 or 4 years, Markkanen, Sexton, Clarkson, Kessler, all these guys have been in trade talks. And it seems like Danny Ainge doesn't want to give him up. He wants 2, 3 first round picks, whatever. And now you give Sexton up for a bag of peanuts and Yusuf Nurkic. You give Clarkson up in a buyout. You don't even get anything for him. And again, you're still paying Lauri Markkanen. The whole thing with Ace Bailey obviously is going to work itself out. Ace Bailey's there. It's fine. But it really just, they're not a free agent destination. You're not getting much, and you can't trade guys with actual value in return. I really like the move of Clarkson going to New York. I think New York needs more depth bench pieces, and you get him. What was he? Was he the mid-level exception, or they signed him for actual? What was the contract? Clarkson.
It's probably they said there's a report that it might be the vet minimum.
Like they have to make moves on the margins. They don't have tons of cap space, and you go get a guy like Jordan Clarkson for the free. Like that's a good move in my opinion. You get more play creation off the bench. And again, Utah got nothing for him. He averaged 16 last year, shot 36% from 3, I think 40% from the field. Like Jordan Clarkson's always been a bucket. Since he's been in the league, Jordan Clarkson's always been a bucket, and especially being a secondary role off the bench for New York with a guy like Deuce McBride there too, like that's really, really good. And again, Utah had nothing to get from that. So Utah will do nothing the rest of the offseason, in my opinion, unless it's trading Walker Kessler. I don't think they'll trade Lauri Markkanen. It's been too long. But these two guys where teams wanted them, teams want Colin Sexton or Jordan Clarkson. Like, I think it's maybe just the contracts that they're not a fan of, but you literally have to attach things to get off of them. And I think Danny Ainge he's a good GM, but we're still riding off these couple trades from Boston.
Come on, dog.
I agree. Like
let that go. Let that go.
Since he's been to Utah, it's been scary move after scary move. I agree 100%. Like
Told
what
you
did
that last year, like almost. I think we told you that like last year or something like
I ain't
that.
gonna lie. Danny Ainge is a boom or bust GM. It's like
it's
you
just
only know him from the boom. All the in betweens ain't really.
Yeah.
Garnett. Okay. Cool. Lease the Brooklyn Nets, a notoriously silly organization, and at the time, very, very silly ownership. Move off them. It didn't take much to get the number 3 pick from Brooklyn and pick, Jason Tatum. It didn't take much to do that. It didn't take much
It's
to.
the way they did that. It's the way they did that for me. And then you kind of get the Kyrie and Gordon Hayward offseason. That's just unlucky. I'm sorry. The Gordon Hayward injury is unlucky. Like you can't do much with that. Do I think they were going to be a perennial favorite in the East? Like they were a good team, but they weren't beating Braun. I think everyone knew that. But like Kyrie worked out there for a little bit. Their divorce was bad, but you can't do anything about Gordon Hayward. Again, I think Danny Ainge is still a good GM compared to the rest of the current GMs. I don't think there's a lot of guys who are exceeding expectations. But yeah, I think a lot of the
we could go a minute before we get to Danny Ainge, I think.
I'm saying more as like a whole body of work. I guess it's tough for me to kind of rate on like a day-to-day basis because
you've been terrible for years.
Piece. But I agree. Like I think Utah's been
20 years ago, though, is what I'm saying.
What's up?
If you want to do body of work, sure, then LeBron's the best player in the league. But I don't care about what you did 20 years ago. To be honest, like you got to when it comes to GM, you got to do it on like a 5-year intervals at a time. Like sometimes it's like, what have you done in the past 5 years?
I understand, but sometimes, like with Presti, right? With Presti's been doing this. He's been laying the foundation for a long time. And even when we were bad, again, it looked bad, but like you have the pick stock piled up, right? And again, Utah doesn't have any picks. I'm not saying they do. Like Utah's not doing whatever they've drafted.
He's never had a bad 5-year stretch like Danny Ainge, though.
But I'm just saying, like again, like that's even going back. I'm saying like on a year-to-year basis, when you saw the Thunder as a bad team, again, they were a bad team. They were putting out a bad product. Xavier Simpson's our starting point guard, right? I know, but I'm saying you're saying don't do a body of work. Oh, happy birthday, Q. You're saying a body of work. Like again, if we're going year to year, like it's not a big. If we're just going year to year, right? Like, and again, Danny Ainge's been here for 2 seasons or whatever. So 2 or 3 seasons, right? When did he get here? 23 or 22?
22, most likely, because that's when Brad Stevens took over.
So like I'm just saying, like that's where like need to see some of those picks kind of fall into place. They've drafted poorly, don't get me wrong, and they have not traded things for picks. OKC had that, right? Where it's like, again, you saw the product was bad. They didn't have many pieces working for them, right? Shea was trying to get along. They were trying to like develop everything, right? You knew that there were like pieces in place, but they had those picks stockpiled up where it was kind of like hey, like can't grade it until it happens. So again, I think you kind of got to take it year by year, but Utah is not on any sort of trajectory going up right now at all. Like no one's super hyped up about Bryce Sensabaugh, Taylor Hendricks, and Keontae George, right? No one's hyped up about their couple first-round picks coming up. Maybe you love Walter Clayton and Ace Bailey. I don't know. But anyways, long story short, I think that the moves they've made, I think they have guys of value, and they just can't capitalize on it.
Okay. I got 2 losers right now. My biggest loser of free agency so far has to be the Pistons. It has to be the Pistons. A few days before free agency starts, Malik Beasley gets hit with a RICO. So his future is up in the air, and now that kind of like limits who you can sign in free agency. You don't know if you're gonna bring him back, and he was such an integral part of last year on and off the court. You lose out on the kill Alexander Walker. Who else were they trying to go for? Oh, you lose out on Santi Aldama, and then you sign Caris LeVert for damn near $15 a year. Caris LeVert is a fine player. He is not worth $15 million a year. He is not. He's not. They also lost Dennis Schroeder. So they made a 30-win improvement, and at best, they stayed about as good as they were last year, maybe even worse. While the Hawks and Orlando Magic have drastically improved this offseason. So for that, they have to be losers so far. That's pretty much that simple. Also, Milwaukee Bucks are a big loser. They have been awful. They've been awful for a while, but like, re-signing KPJ, who obviously shouldn't be playing NBA basketball, but he's also not a good player. Re-signing Taurean Prince, who is also he's not good. Your starting center next year is going to be Jericho Sims, probably. Like, Brook Lopez wasn't a good starting center last year, but he is a hell of a lot better than Jericho Sims. They need to figure that out immediately. Giannis said that during the draft, Giannis said he was going to be evaluating their draft and he's going to be evaluating their offseason. And their offseason has been terrible. There is no reason for Giannis to play a game. There is no reason for Giannis to play another game in the Bucks uniform. It makes no sense. This roster is dog shit. They're not going to be anywhere near close to contention, even when Dame comes back. Their future is terrible. They have no good young players. They have no assets. It makes no sense to continue to be on the team. I've been saying that for a while now, but they're all like they have no ability to build on the margins, like, at all. Like, they can't build on the margins with young players. They can't even like get veteran minimum guys to come play for them, and like they actually be solid players. They for me they were one of the biggest losers of free agency on day one. Q, who was your biggest losers of day one?
My biggest loser, and they're usually probably always gonna be my biggest loser when it comes to these things, is Miami Heat. And honestly, they never. Pat Riley really be sleep, and like I want the fake give him some grace because he got Casper's at 20. But anytime it's
that's like everyone else like not picking him. Like I get it. You didn't miss it. It's like Campbell Moore.
But to always be in these trade talks to be trying to go get somebody when we know that you're not going to go get somebody, then in free agency to have some more avenues to try and do things and you still don't do anything. And then your backup plans, and I called it like a couple weeks ago, your backup plan where you thought you're gonna sway everybody. I'm gonna go get DeMar DeRozan. That's their big backup plan, and that's where they shifted their focus to DeMar DeRozan. This is not a serious. They're not a serious franchise right now, and they keep running out the same old mantras and things like that. Sometimes it don't work. Give it up. Get some new blood in there. Sometimes franchises just need some new blood, some new voices in the room to try and shake things up because eventually things get stale, and this is way beyond stale. Like, this crumbs, this done bread. Like, this is over with.
Was that your only loser?
I think I covered it. Outside of like the teams that like obviously the Lakers, as of right now, are losers. I expect them to sign DeAndre Ayton. Like, I expect that to come soon, but I think they could have done more. Like, obviously they were. I don't think they was going to be able to get Ayton. I mean, Clint Capella. But if they was able to walk out today with Ayton and Clint, I think they would have been in a much better spot. Jake LaRavia is a good player. Shooting on a wing, surely needed, but you still need 2 7-footers, and they just don't got that right now.
I think the whole drama with LeBron too. I think it's a lot of nothing. I can't lie. Like, I don't know if you guys talked about it, but like, I don't think LeBron trade is possible, right? Like, a LeBron trade, I think there's so many hoops to jump through right now. You can't worry about that. And I think with that being said, like, yeah, you getting Jake LaRavia, you get shooting, but I think you need more pieces to put around them. And again, not getting DFS for the price, sure, but like, you just need more playable players right now, and you also need bigs. Like, again, they could make a move and get Ayton, and I still think that they're a move or two away from really completing an offseason.
Yeah, their roster kind of sucks, especially in how tough the West is. They don't have a realistic shot to actually compete for a championship.
You're backpacking. You're on LeBron and Luka's backpack for 82 games.
Hey, those good backs to be on. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but 40-year-old Bron can't hold it for 82 games. Like, we know that. Like, I think he'll play whatever. He'll play.
Not holding it.
Some people think he's still a top 5 player in the league, so I don't know.
But I'm just saying he can't play 82 games.
Oh, I know. You don't have to.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not like he is not in a health spot to play that. Like, yes, I still think that on a game-to-game basis, there are a few players in the league I'm taking over Bron, but it's the fact that he can't play 82 games because he gets beat up throughout the season.
What are the best sleeper picks? Sleeper signings of free agency for you guys? We can just give it one. And I think this is a pretty good video. But what are some of the sleeping signings of free agency like that?
Go with the Bucks, 2 years, 7.5 mil.
Who?
Did you say?
Gary Trent Jr.
I mean, he was solid. He was good, I would say. So, what are some of the best sleeper signings of free agency for you guys? Do you have any?
I think for the money, it's like $11 million. Is kind of a lot too rich for my blood. But Luke Kennard to the Hawks, I think they still need more shooting on the roster outside of Trae Young. The best shooter probably would be Zachary Richardson, and he's a second-year player. Well, KP, but KP, that's day to day. We don't know if he's healthy, if he's going to play a lot. So you need to shoot some shooting in the backcourt, and he had that in Luke Kennard. Great shooter, all ball, has a lot of gravity, as you heard before. 3 assists off the bench, barely any turnovers. Real quick, real simple. Obviously, he's not a defender or anything, but you can always shooting is always a premium in this league, and he got that.
I think.
Oh, sorry.
I think one of my best sleeper picks or sleeper signings of free agency was Luke Kornet. I think he's a really good backup center, and the Spurs were in desperate need of a backup center. Getting him at that price is pretty good, I think. He's a solid defender, good finisher, all that type of stuff. He provided really good minutes for he provided really good minutes for the Celtics in the playoffs. So a lot of his like advanced numbers look really, really good. He's not the most mobile guy or anything like that, but they're gonna have like 48 minutes of some solid, like some good center play. I think from Luke Kornet and obviously Wemby. But opponents finished 11.8% worse at the rim when Luke Kornet was at the rim this year. So he was a pretty good rim protector, and he has been like for like a lot of his career. Like it goes under discussed, but he's a high impact backup type of big guy. So I think it was a pretty good signing for the Spurs who were in desperate need of a backup center. So that's probably my sleeper signing of free agency.
Two that I don't know are really that much of sleeper signings. One I think is a little more mainstream, but I like Tyus Jones going to Orlando. I think they needed a point guard this whole time. And you get a table setting point guard. Again, I think putting him alongside Paolo and Franz, just getting a point guard who can set up the offense, can pass, especially with a guy like Jace behind him. If he can help Jace at all with playmaking, passing in this league, that'd be big. But again, I just think that it's more of an offensive-minded point guard than Jalen Suggs. You can kind of have that kind of offensive and defensive guy in the point guard position. So I'm fine, especially on a 1-year rental. Just having an actual experienced point guard there is good. And then hate it all you want. I'm cool with D'Lo going to Dallas. I love D'Lo. I always will. But I think until Kyrie gets back just for a year, or even until, I don't know, he'll be back, March? He'll try and get back. Would you guys expect him to even be back this year at all, pushing towards the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure.
So either way, I think that having D'Lo there, you have an old and experienced team, getting an older, experienced point guard who knows how to work in the pick and roll with Anthony Davis. Lakers fans obviously hate him at times, but I like D'Lo. I'm fine with him there. Quick little 2-year deal, getting experienced point guard to help run the offense just while Kyrie's away. And then when Kyrie gets back, I think it's a good man on your second unit. I like that.
My last sleeper in the video with this was Ty Jerome. I think the Grizzlies got him at $9 million. That's pretty good value for what Ty Jerome was in the regular season. Obviously, he was really bad in the playoffs. I think he may have been dealing with an injury, and the physicality of that's probably his first playoff stint was like caught up to him. So, but I think even getting him at $9 million, he lost a lot of money, but getting him with that value, I think, as an off the bench ball handler is pretty good for the Grizzlies as they just lost Desmond Bain. Obviously, though, they got like Scottie Pippen Jr. They just drafted Javon Small, so they'll have some guys off the bench to handle the ball. That's going to do it for the day one, at least, of our free agency special. Biggest winners, losers, free agency, and some sleeper picks. We'll rank teams after free agency once we know where everybody's pretty much going. A few more dominoes to fall, and then we'll rank teams. That's going to do it for the video, man. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. We are out.